Uh, all right, we are now live on Facebook, Vimeo, and LinkedIn. So Valerie is going to be helping us monitor any kind of chitter chatter going on the LinkedIn's. And this is the first time I've really used LinkedIn Live, so I'm excited to do. And I've never done like a group unboxing video. Have you guys ever done this before?
No, this is a groundbreaking first.
Wow, we're like revolutionaries.
Totally. We need like that MTV
really
sign that spins around, like world premiere. Old school.
100%.
Gotta be old to do that.
Let's do it. Well, I see, Valerie, can you see that we're good to go? It looks like we're live.
Yeah, but it started playing sound, which was not what I wanted. So now I'm going back into it.
Ah, okay.
There's a delay on that, so it's not.
Oh, yeah, that's super annoying.
I can't play the sound. Yeah.
Well, hey, everybody. We're live on a couple of different platforms. And Evelio got a little bit of traction on a post about some sneakers. And we all jumped on it. I just love sneakers. I even put like my Off-White box, and then I've got some Big Baller brand shoes. If you don't know, I do have a pair of Big Baller brand shoes. So I jumped at it. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I need in my life. So I went on and ordered some. Valerie and Evelio did the same. Evelio, what did you like? How did you find the story, first of all?
Because I live and breathe packaging, right? So actually, you know what? Annie from our Clubhouse group, she sent it to me.
Oh,
she's like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this shoe? And I like just dug in. I'm like, I don't know. Let me find out. And then I couldn't order it because she's in Canada and the URL is Canadian. So I'm like, I'm going to order it to your house. Can you ship it to me? And then you're like, oh, I got one. So that's kind of how we kind of figured it all out.
That's why the link was in Canada. I was so frustrated. I was like, really? They're not going to ship to America? This is America. We get what we want. Turns out we just needed the right link. Yeah, so this is exciting. The shoes are made from no plastic?
Yes.
Plastic.
Cool. Why don't we actually introduce ourselves to people who maybe don't know? And we should start with Valerie, because she's the most knowledgeable out of all of us.
For sure.
I'm Valerie Hawks. I'm the head of production and sustainability with Inner Folder, a branding and packaging design firm here in Colorado. And I got stoked on this because I love shoes, but mostly like tennis shoes. And since you all were buying them, I felt like I had to be cool too and get them.
First of all, Valerie, you don't need these shoes to be cool, by the way, but you just are cool.
Takes a lot of work.
Cool. I'm Evelio Matos. I host Package Design Unboxed, and I had Valerie on, which is awesome. That's how we met. And yeah, so I host a podcast, and I design packaging and help brands be more sustainable.
Yeah, and I'm Adam Peak, and I also host a podcast and work for Fortis Solutions Group. Shameless plug, we just acquired a Total Label company today, or announced it today, which was really fun and exciting up in Whitefish, Montana, and also they have a location in Memphis, Tennessee. I can't wait to go to both locations. One, because I think Beale Street is super cool, and I was a huge Penny Hardaway basketball fan. Speaking of shoes, I love Penny Hardaway shoes, but also I've heard Whitefish is just beautiful. So excited to go check out what they got going there. Yeah, why don't should we just dig into this thing and talk about how this thing shipped? Because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got to talk about the box. But I also realize now, to be cool, it sounds like I need to host a podcast.
You should.
Both of you host podcasts.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, make it happen, Valerie. Okay, so let me talk first of all as like somebody who loves packaging and is also into sneakers. I'm always a little bit concerned because in the sneaker world, and maybe people don't fully realize this, but the product packaging is also valuable. So it helps to provide a level of authentication in the sneaker resale market. I don't know if these have like a resale value, so it's probably not the the shipping box being also, I'm assuming the product box is probably okay. But like when Nike did their Space Hippies, that became a problem because you couldn't really resell the shoes, and the resale market for sneakers is massive. So that was kind of the first thing I thought was, well, you're sort of shooting, like, you're slapping a shipping label on this. You've got these spool labels and all sorts like there's really no way to resell this box without destroying it. That was kind of one thought I had.
Yeah, it's kind of, when I saw this as well, it was sort of like, this is it, right? Like there's a box and there's shoes in there. But if you're trying to be sustainable, which is the story that this product has, then yeah, I couldn't imagine getting this in a, an RSC with a bunch of padding around it and then this in there, because that kind of defeats the purpose. And it looks like it's, and honestly, this looks like it's like an E flute, which is, it's a really thin board. There's no markings on here, but it looks like it's an E flute versus like your standard B flute that you're using for shipping cartons. So it's, it's been lightweighted. They've reduced the amount of material on here just for that reason, which is kind of great. And it's shoes, right? So even if the corner does get crushed,
yeah,
like those shoes aren't gonna, they're not gonna get damaged. They're not gonna break.
Yeah, no doubt.
And how did your box arrive, Valerie?
Well, perfectly. And one thing that I noticed that's cool, they don't use, there's one label from them outside of the shipping label that they use soy-based ink on. But the cool thing is all of the embossing instead of using ink, and it gets dirty. I noticed yours is a little dirty too, but what that does is it kind of highlights the pattern.
Right? Yeah.
It's not the worst. It's kind of cool. And when you're thinking sustainable, like the Saucony logo is super crisp.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's actually kind of cool because that is, if you think about it, a downside is that this box got dirty, obviously in transport, but it's kind of working in its favor.
Yeah, and the whole point is to be able to, the whole point should be that this is recyclable. So you're not going to keep it, right? You're going to tear it and then you're going to put it in the recycle bin and it'll become a box again. So awesome. Yeah. So you've got a deboss on the back here, and then this, this is just a really heavy deboss of a shoe and a wing. And then you've got like, the logo on the side on both sides here. So it's a pretty big plate, and you've got a recycle Mobius loop down here on the bottom below the tear strip. Then on the bottom, you've got your FedEx label, and they've got a little space that's been debossed specifically for that, which I think is really important.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Have the packaging is that you're shipping, you've got to identify where this label goes. Otherwise, somebody could put a label over the front of this, which will damage the tear strip. They can put it over the top of it, which then blocks this. And when it comes to distribution centers, they're trying to get that stuff out. So having a label on there, I think is having a deboss for the label is pretty intelligent.
And without any printing either. Like they didn't print the area to put it, just using that same tool to manufacture this was pretty cool. They also not only with the soy-based inks, but they've also used an uncoated paper, probably like a semi-gloss paper label instead of, it might be silly to think that they would do all of this and use like a BOPP label or something like that, but they definitely took the minimalist approach on everything with the packaging, which is certainly on brand with what they're trying to accomplish, right? The only thing, I suppose maybe, and this, I just did I went up to the pack size place up here in Salt Lake City, and they actually packaged up a pair of shoes for me. And it went down the line and it reads it and makes a right fitted box. So there's no void fill.
Yeah.
So if you really were concerned about the resale value, and I totally agree, I think that this dirt sort of adds to the aesthetic appeal of it. But if you really were concerned and you wanted to preserve this form of packaging, you could make a right size box with somebody like a pack size. I don't think it's necessary, obviously, because it adds cost, it adds packaging. But you could get away with it without the void fill.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Anything else, Valerie, that you see on this outer shipping?
I don't. I think it's cool that it's simple and it, we'll see what happens when we open it up. But I think to a lot of consumers, it's not super obvious what they've done that's sustainable. So like the soy-based ink on the craft label, and then obviously what all of the debossing does to it, and how that saves on printing. So we'll see if they call any of that out inside. I'm interested to see if they're using this to also, educate their consumer on what they've contributed to by buying it.
No, that's super smart, right?
I'm gonna grab my loop real quickly, and I want to see if this is a craft label or if it's oh, you have one. You should
I
take
got
a look.
mine right here.
Okay, take a look. Did they print the look, which isn't bad? I'm just curious if that's the actual material or if that's a 4-color process on the label.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's the material.
Is it really? Cool.
Yeah, if you pull back on the label, if you just tear it, you can see the underside is the same color.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's fun. Yeah, so that's only what?
2 colors.
2 colors, yep.
Yeah, you've got the dark green and then the light green, and then that's it.
But that light green is solid and vibrant.
Yeah.
It's not washed out. You wouldn't look at that and think sustainability or like,
Yeah.
it looks good and it looks bright, which is important, and crisp. And I know because I just looked at it with my loop. How nerdy was that I had that like readily available?
I have mine right back here, right behind my Lauryn Hill picture. But one thing I will say that from the label perspective, this is die cut out on the and right here, I understand this is probably for branding and they haven't really done a ton of branding, but you do create some excess waste when you have to strip off the matrix with kind of this voided space right here. So, that would be the only thing. By the way, quick tip for people in the label industry, the more that you can get away with rounded corners, the faster the labels can die cut and strip off the matrix. So like this probably ran a little bit slower on the finishing equipment versus just like a standard rounded corner label. But I think they probably could have gotten away with. Again, I'm not like complaining. It's just an interesting thing that people don't really think about. So,
and especially on an uncoated sheet like this that can tear and snag versus a coated one that will, easily peel off the matrix.
Yeah. Well,
and
should we?
Yeah, I think the only other thing before we tear into it is like, I got a Lego box yesterday and they printed on the inside of the Lego box, like, this is the reason that we don't have artwork on the outside of the box is because it's for, we want to surprise you as a gift, blah, blah, blah. And somebody commented too, it's like the less branding is on the outside, the safer it is. And, a box like this, I get it. And I'm up front holding it. I can see the branding, but if I'm 10 feet away, I don't see the logo. I don't know that it's a pair of shoes. So, it's also safer from an e-com side.
That resonates with me because I had, when Enter the Spider-Verse came out, I bought a pair of these Jordan 1 Spider-Man shoes, the origin stories. And I was so stoked because I got them at retail and I wasn't going to resell them because it's one of my favorite movies ever, but they got stolen off my front porch. They were dropped off, but they've got the Nike logo all around it. And it was right around Christmas time. And somebody sat there and watched it. And I know because I have like a Ring doorbell type thing. And they came up and snatched the box and ran away like 5 minutes after it was delivered. So that's such an awesome point, Evelio, that this is the understatement of the shipping helps with security of the delivery. And, also even in, third party 3PLs and distribution centers, maybe you're not quite as, you're not looking at this box as something that has a lot of value.
You guys want to rip into this tear strip?
I can't wait.
All right. So should we all do it like at the same time?
Yeah, let's do it. Countdown.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, mine didn't make it.
Oh man, mine did. I was worried it wouldn't.
No, mine didn't either.
I only got a portion of it. Right. Now, the reason that didn't go all the way across is because it didn't have the plastic backer, the reinforcement piece, which
right.
You don't want plastic on this if you're making the whole thing recyclable.
If you're to make
Yep.
it interesting, does yours have a 3M strip that hasn't been peeled off to tape it shut?
Oh, look at that.
That's for returns.
Return it. So
Yeah.
they do. There's still some plastic used in that.
Yeah. We got to talk.
Yeah, but here's the deal though. Like this, so this edition though, when you think about it, if I'm going to return this, is eliminating the need for a whole bunch of tape if somebody had to put it on there. So, you know, they're sort of hedging. I would guess they're like hedging their bets with this 3M strip here. And you know, you can tear it off and throw it away. It's not like it's going to be this little piece right here. So
yeah, and you can just, you know, and what's cool too for anybody that's watching that's interested in like this RSC style box, you know, typically this flap will be the full size that'll come all the way down here. But we only have the locking portion, like the 2/3 of it, because the bottom of it has to stand in the front. So it still serves the purpose, but just kind of a neat way that they do that.
yeah, these dust flaps don't go all the way in, but it's also glued. You know, it's glued down here at the bottom for, and I would imagine, oh no, that's glued. So this is manufactured. This is all part. So these are all one and the same. And then it's probably some beads of glue I put down. Yeah, they are. So a strip of glue is put down on the bottom.
That should be another 3M strip on there.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that
Mine's coming all the way out.
deboss on the lid is like deep enough that it comes all the way through. Like I can see the logo here. I can see this panel.
Mine says run for good. Did you see this?
No.
Mine says run for good on the next one.
Oh yeah, yep. Mine does as well.
And I bet this is all on, this is all on the same tool.
Yep.
Because when the sheet lays flat, they didn't have to do a bunch of different things. So awesome. Anything else? Yeah. So this could be zipped off, shut down, and then shipped back off if they needed to.
Yeah. And then there's just a craft, like 280 GSM divider in there, which is recyclable also.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of crinkle paper, which is annoying, and you just throw out anyways.
Yeah. And there's no tissue in the shoes.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at these shoes. They've got these inserts. No, is that the shoe? That's a shoe insert.
I think that's the inside. I think I see that something that you're talking about. That's the inside of the shoe.
Yeah, it's made out of wool. The insert is like layers of wool.
And it's not glued in, which makes sense because they use no plastic or chemicals in this.
Yeah. Now I did post a picture of this on like a local design group, and I called the Saucony running shoe, and everybody's like, "That's not a running shoe. Nobody's going to run in that shoe." They're like, "That's going to go to the bargain bin in like a couple of days." But
the one thing that I would be curious about is, like this. So the rubber or whatever kind of material. What's the material that this sole is made out of?
Rubber.
It's rubber. Okay. I would wonder what the longevity of this is. If this is to be made for any kind of a high use or not, because it feels like the shoe feels really flimsy, which isn't necessarily bad. Like the free running shoes and those kinds of things are pretty good. What do you got, Evelio? You're excited about something.
Yeah, I'm just taking it apart, right? Because we want to talk about the packaging, and I just,
I want to talk about the shoes too.
I know you do, but this is, it's a pretty good sized die. I wonder, it's got to be like a movable die because I'm assuming box sizes are going to vary, but you want to make sure that your
logo
is centered. You want the lid to be centered.
Do you shoot? Hang on, let me grab my ruler. But I wonder if because I'm sure that like I have massive feet. I have size 13 shoes.
Let me grab my tape measure and we can measure the box.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh look, I've got mine right here.
You were like so prepared.
But I also have probably the smaller feet here, so my box is going to be smaller. 24.
I'm like 13 by 8 by 5.
Okay, this one's 12.
That's ish. I've just,
Yeah, this one's 12 by 7 by 4.5.
okay. So yeah, they're going to have variable size boxes.
Yeah, and that's typical for shoes. And then you also have to have like children's sizes or like the smaller size. So typically you're going to have like 3 to 4 sizes of shoe boxes.
I've got 11 by 6 by 4.
Okay, so yeah, just within the 3 of us, there's 3 different size boxes here.
Yeah. Yeah. So there are. I'm just trying to think of so you've got the dies within, and this is more, you guys would probably understand this more than I would, but is the debossing tool, can that be reused across all the sizes, or does that have to match the die?
Well, if they did it on one plate.
Yeah, on corrugate, you can do a rounded die because it's just it's just going. So sometimes those components are movable, or it can be a full cylinder, or it can be individual plates. But I would assume this is going to be something that's movable because the logo is going to be the same size on a smaller box or a larger box. Yeah, I mean, there's no printing.
Yeah.
It's fully recyclable. The one thing that is missing here, but I think it just comes with the fact that you've purchased this shoe, is that there's nothing on here. Like there's no messaging that tells you that this box is fully recyclable. That I think that's the one piece it's missing, is that it doesn't give you that full story, which I think is a miss. But I think if you've bought this shoe, you've read all the marketing and
But let's say, let's say that you,
logo. It does
yeah, you can barely see it.
in the box. Correct. And this is recycled and recyclable. But after since we opened it and we saw what's on the inside is just the divider, there's absolutely no messaging.
Couldn't you do like some kind of, maybe like a QR code as those are coming back in? I know that designers love those, but maybe they're, something here on the label. What's that?
They're beautiful. Everyone loves them.
Everyone loves QR codes, but some kind of engaging thing here that's you're not going to add any costs. You're not, you're still using the same plate, but it can just something there to
just even in that negative,
learn about it.
Even in that negative space where that die cut happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just make this a little bit bigger and add some messaging in that space. And you're still using craft label soy-based ink.
Yeah, and you're reducing the amount of waste because now you're not having that negative space.
Mm-hmm. They're already paying for that material that got tossed. So yeah,
pretty cool. And then there's the shoe. I'm not a shoe guy.
What?
You should see what I'm wearing.
I have no shoes on right now, to be honest.
I'm all about Converse.
I don't either, but I planned it because I'm going to put these on my feet.
Okay.
But yeah, so the insert is just this foam.
It's just wool?
Yeah, it says it's wool. Now, I mean,
so wool looks like it's itchy, but the benefit of wool, obviously it's natural, but it absorbs and gets rid of odor. So it's a great choice for shoes. It's a really common base layer for outdoor clothing because it absorbs odor. It's actually a really clever idea in a shoe.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And then if you look at the material itself, I mean it is pretty flimsy, but then you look on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy.
It's pretty raw, you see it sewn together.
It's probably it creates each shoe is probably there's a few imperfections that are similar to the box, how the imperfections add to the brand. I think that in this up in here, the imperfections are actually, I think they're awesome. I can see some in the white, there's a little speck here. There's a little speck right there on This is my right shoe. And for those of you, this is a shameless promotion for these shoes, but if you have wide feet, like I have really wide feet, and I put this thing on, and I can normally tell the minute I put on a shoe, if it's like this thing's going to be awful, or these shoes are going to be super comfortable. These are fantastic for those of you who have wide feet.
So I'm interested to know, so this is made with seven materials. Said it has cotton. Jute is the fascinating one. That's like, it looks like wheat when it's grown. Wool, rubber, wood, gardenia, and beet. So beet for dyeing. What do you think the gardenia is used for? That's why I'm smelling this shoe. Like, is it a scent? Like, I'm really curious.
It's the collar. It's the navy color.
Oh,
It's
is
coming
it?
from it's coming from the gardenia flower.
Ah,
Because the flower is white, so.
interesting.
Hmm.
And it's missing that thing that's inside of all shoes that like gives you that information and the sizing.
Oh
There's,
no,
like,
it's on the bottom of this. It's on the insole.
It's on the wool, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there is. There's a little tag in there.
And it's cotton also.
Yep. Oh, and there's, yep, and then like a code written on the back, 100% wool insole.
Yeah, guess who's allergic to wool?
You are.
This guy. So,
You can't wear the shoes?
what?
Can you not wear 'em?
If I was, I'd have to have socks on, you know.
Well,
Just just an Evelio tidbit.
Give them away as a gift on your podcast then. Do some sort of contest.
There you go.
I'm putting it
But yeah, so there's cotton, which makes up some of the white area. Then you've got the jute, which makes up this stuff here.
Yep.
And jute seems like it'd be itchy, but this seems like it's been pretty well processed. And then that sock liner is all wool.
Yeah, that jute is like just another canvas. Almost.
mine are just hugging my feet. They're not coming off.
They're really soft. Can't really show that there. No, yeah, really.
Yeah.
There's no chance I could do whatever you just did. I tried to be like,
There you go.
I know, man. I'm gonna be honest. These feel a little weird in the heel. They don't feel like the heel feels a little higher, but I'm a canvas shoe wearer. I mean, I wear Converse till they like fall apart. I'm gonna do a Valerie, like totally fall apart.
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Wow.
But I've got my collection of Chucks, and that's how I roll. So I like the flat, which these are pretty flat, but that heel seems I can feel it.
But see, like I wear a lot of basketball shoes, and they tend to be a lot more, performance. I mean, not all are performance. Like some of the retro Jordans, they're not really made for playing basketball in anymore. But
But these definitely feel like they're. It doesn't feel like you're wearing much. Like I can feel the imperfections in the wood floor. Like I can feel every groove, which is it's like a sock.
Yeah.
It's like a house slipper.
Well, awesome. Any other thoughts on the packaging? Because I think it's great. I think it's other than a few of the little things that I think are just are super minor. I don't know. I enjoyed the simplicity of it. And I think that was from my perspective, like the debossing really, I think won over the design. I thought it was really well done.
I'm going to bring up a comment from our chat, which Matt Burns says, if your brand is strong, your customers research your product and don't need printed packaging. And I think that's true for people like us and people in this industry, but it's definitely not true at large. And I think we owe it to consumers as designers of this stuff to give them the information, because at this point they've sought out this shoe because they've read about it. But if this takes off, hopefully that's not the case, and it is more popular, and someone can just come across it on a website and order it. And we should be telling those people what to do with this packaging after we just opened it up, and what they contributed to by choosing this over something else.
Sure. And I think the other thing too is once we go back to, full retail, if this box is on shelf, which you typically see, a sea of like brown boxes, or like for Chucks, you'll see like the black boxes, you can identify the brand, just as you look down the aisle, if you see the orange boxes, you know that that's the Nike section. This box is going to get lost at retail. It's going to feel generic because you're going to walk past it. You're not going to see the emboss, the logo. And I think that becomes a miss.
Yeah, but I mean, the price point on these is decently high, and oftentimes, the shoe will be the only thing displayed, and the shoe is the thing that has to grab the attention, and then somebody goes in the back. I'm thinking at like a Nordstrom or Foot Locker or somewhere like that, and I think that the shoe does a pretty good job standing out. But I agree, if this was just at a retail shelf, I don't think it would sell well at all. And to Matt's point, I think that given the fact that like we talked about, that dead space on the label, you're already paying for, you're not actually gaining anything by having that dead space. Why not utilize that in the design of that label to do some sort of communication? It doesn't have to be a QR code, but something that says, made from, these 7 ingredients, all packaging is recycled and recyclable, or, something simple like that. It doesn't have to be, like a how to recycle logo or anything like that.
I think some in-store promotional like items, because like you mentioned, when you go into a shoe store, this is sitting on the little shelf, and then all the boxes are above and below it from where you would take it, and just like in a point of sale display saying what it is. Some signage would be all it would take. And I think people would, I think mostly people want to do good, and they want to support good if they know that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
These are cool. I think they're cool. I'm going to wear them a bit, and we'll see if they are comfortable, or if you do start feeling all the pieces of your wood floor as you're walking across it.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, just, Matt's also asking if they're scratchy, and, they're a little scratchy.
Wow. I actually think they're pretty soft. The heel is a little flimsy. So normally you might have some more heel support around this part, and you don't. Like, it's really squishy, and I do kind of like notice that, because I think a lot of times there's another more firmer insert in that part too.
Yeah, but it's typically made out of plastic,
Probably.
which goes against what
they could have made it out of like wood. But Thomas is also asking if they can use a Econolock style box for this instead of this RSC, or not RSC, RELF.
Yeah.
To save some material. I think that's possible, but I think you lose like that shoe box feel, right? If you're always, I think all shoe boxes kind of have that same style. So the Econolock might.
I'd be curious, what is the dip from a sustainability perspective? So if you look at like Adidas has a line of sneakers that are made from, and I don't have enough time to go into this term, but it's a loaded term, made from recycled ocean plastics. And I use air quotes because I think that's a little disingenuous at times, but so they have a line of sneakers that, they're using. And then Nike has their space hippies that are supposed to be 90%, post-consumer recycled content. I'm just wondering, I will say, I feel like my gut feeling is that these have a better sustainability story than the space hippies and the Adidas shoes. The packaging is really similar, to be honest with you, although Nike does have the paper inserts they did not. They did not have the paper inserts, but it did come in its own shipping box. So from a packaging standpoint, I think it was the exact same, but from like the shoe sourcing, it seems like what Saucony's done is a bit more on the sustainability side. Would you guys agree with that?
These are like on the scale of sustainability, these are a 10 versus those other ones are being pretty far down. Because like when you're done with these, the whole upper layer of this can be composted. I don't know about the rubber, but the rubber is a natural material where it's not a composite of multiple polymers.
That's a good point. I didn't notice that, but like where your laces are through is obviously not the traditional aluminum ring that's right in there. It's sewn. It's like
Embroidered.
multiple times.
Yeah, these are rad. I think these are pretty cool. They're just a little scratchy and definitely not.
Well, especially if you're allergic to wool, that's gonna be an issue.
For sure. But yeah, I think the box is a box, man. Like this is as basic as you can possibly make a box, which I think is important for brands to know, is that you don't always have to go over the top with your packaging if that story you're telling is sustainable. I do have a sample here of a shoe box.
Oh, I have a closet full of shoe boxes right behind if you want me to grab out 72 of them.
What was the Adidas one that you mentioned? Because now I want to see that. Mention that one again.
It would be, so I don't remember the exact, it came out a few years ago. If you look up Adidas Ocean Plastics, you can probably find it.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, it was like, they were like white and almost like translucent-ish, right?
Yeah, mine are like an aqua color, which probably is, they're probably dyed that way to make it look like. They're super comfortable, by the way, and you know who does a really good job with sneakers, by the way, and I'll let you talk here in a second, Evelio, but Kanye West, America's favorite presidential candidate, he has like an algae farm that he's building in Wyoming in order to make all of his foam, like slip-on sandals from algae that's sourced in the US. It's pretty cool what he's trying to do there. So, you know, he doesn't always get the best press, but I think that's pretty awesome what he's trying to build out in Cody.
That's pretty cool.
You know,
yeah.
I shared the world according to Kanye. You know, that is a New York Times bestseller.
I've read the book Kanye West Owes Me $300 and Other Stories from a White Rapper Who Almost Made It Big, and it's fascinatingly hilarious. But go ahead, Evelio.
No, so yeah, I've got this box here, which this is a similar. It's like an E-flute corrugate. It's a drawer style.
Oh,
excuse me. You know, this thing collapses completely, which is kind of cool. Not quite as easy, but you know, if you wanted to do something a little different, this guy's pretty interesting. Yeah, just you know, it just collapses flat. So it ships flat.
Yeah.
Will save space. Has, you know,
because it ships that way, right? Like it ships to the factory flat instead of like this, which is an off-white box. This is like my humble flex, but this is, you know,
it's rigid. Yeah,
it's a rigid setup box with all sorts of stuff on the inside of it.
Yeah, and this one's got you know, it's got handles so you can carry it like a bag, but the handles are paper. You know, it's that little paper like Apple. So this is like a fully recyclable box, which is pretty cool. And it's, you know, FSC certified, 100% recycled material, 100% recyclable. So it's, you know, and if you're walking out of a store, you walk out with a box bag versus having to put your shoebox in another bag and then carry that out. So that's pretty cool.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
So pretty cool stuff, guys. So I think we've kind of unboxed these things.
We did. We've unboxed them. We've unboxed the shoe boxes. We went from a LinkedIn post to having sneakers on our feet and making an unboxing video and our first LinkedIn live video. So it's all just happening. Like that, yeah. Just like that.
Yeah.
When I woke up this morning, I did not know how to do LinkedIn live, and here we are.
Today you were
Valerie, how do people get in touch with you?
They can find me on LinkedIn, Valerie Hawks.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you should. Interact Boulders does some awesome work.
Yes.
I love working with you guys. So, Evelio, how about yourself?
You can find me on LinkedIn. Just hunt me down, Evelio Matos, or Package Design Unboxed. And Valerie, your outdoor photography is amazing.
Oh yeah, that's my other life outside of packaging. Climbing things and taking pictures of it.
Insane. Climbing
that's
like
sweet.
Walls of ice.
Yeah.
Insane.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm not that exciting outside of packaging, but I do. I coach AAU basketball. That's fun, and I performed. I have like a rap song on iTunes. That was a thing.
Like I can find it.
Yeah, if you just look for my name, there's one song. It's not good at all. Everybody, it's not good.
Guess what?
It's forewarning. What's that?
I said, guess what I'm doing after this?
You should totally do it. It's so bad. And yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn as well. So it's been great. We should do it again. This was fun. Maybe not. I couldn't sustain in my budget with 5 kids continually buying shoes, but we can find other stuff to do.
For sure.
Yeah. I like the idea of unboxing.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hit end event, and we'll sign off.
Sweet.
Thanks
All
so much,
right.
guys.